you felt I don't feel this way because I had given a pretty positive review for the most part.
Oh,
but I
didn't know we were going here.
Do you not want to talk about it?
No, I'll talk about it. Whatever.
I just didn't like the ending. You didn't feel this way at all. You not a fan of Glass.
Can I just real quick add in here? Perry is usually a very even keel, happy person. We sit right across from each other. We talk all the time. Perry came in hot.
Yeah.
She's like, no. Nope, didn't. And I was like, whoa, this is Perry when I lost the I, Tonya DVD.
Yeah.
Right, go ahead.
Yeah. So what? So tell us what were your problems with the movie?
My problems with the movie is that
the movie?
a
No
little
spoilers.
bit. I mean, really, just it's mainly a script issue overall. I thought some of the performances were great. James McAvoy crushes it again, and I thought Bruce Willis was pretty good for the material he was given, but. The story is super messy. I think that maybe when I rewatch it, certain questions I have are answered somewhere, but on a first viewing, I walked out with so many questions, and you guys know it's M. Night Shyamalan. There's twists and turns and reveals and things that are added to this world that we didn't know about before, and the fact that I had questions about certain major things with that, it leaves you feeling kind of empty and confused. And after everything they had set up with Unbreakable and then Split, you walk into this with high hopes that he's going to knock it out of the park, go 3 for 3, and he didn't. Some of the ideas are cool, but the whole thing was not strung together well.
Right. Yeah. No. Look, I love the first let's say it's a 2-hour movie. I love the first hour and 40 minutes of it. Really liked it a lot. And then the ending just dropped off.
I bet you anything, if I chopped up that movie, I could find at least an hour's worth of content that I liked. I think one of the things, I know everybody laughs when we say connective tissue, but this is a movie where that is completely missing.
Yeah.
It just jumps from one character to the next for no rhyme or reason,
Roxy's
and it kind of
over here
kills the
befuddled.
pace of the movie.
Surprise, surprise, Perry. I feel completely
I had a
opposite
feeling.
as you. It's so wild.
You guys should be besties.
Well, they are.
I really like
They
Perry.
get
We
along well.
disagree
They
on
just-
almost
they
all
just don't
movies.
like the same movies
It's
at
the
all.
same thing with Dan Merle. Dan Merle and I disagree on every movie choice. So
Right.
Perry, you and Dan should go to the movie theater all the time. I thought that the movie was not the movie that I wanted to see. So going in with the expectations I had, what I thought the movie was going to be is not the direction they took it in. So I had to very quickly check myself and be like, you're not the filmmaker, Rox.
Right.
Listen to the story that they're telling because you're clearly not getting what it was
I just
that
like
you
the
wanted.
fact you call yourself Rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third person.
Yeah.
Always Rox.
Yeah.
I'm Rox forever.
I like that.
So I was like, okay, that's not what I'm getting. Once I dropped those expectations, I loved the story. While I didn't like the ending, I loved the end.
Really?
I loved the end.
All right.
So
It's a hard pass for me there.
there's part of the ending that I thought was literally the least necessary thing I've ever seen in a movie. It was so unnecessary.
Yeah.
And then the actual end,
Loved
when I walked out, I was like, wow, I feel so satisfied.
Huh.
I completely understand why I just watched this
Yeah.
movie. What an interesting place to be.
Okay.
And
Cody thought it was the worst movie he's seen in 10 years.
that's not true.
Cody?
Entirely true.
Not entirely.
In 10 years?
No, I don't think he liked it though. But
Did you see A Million Ways to Die in the West?
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
He was disappointed by it. He didn't think it's thing.
Wow, I liked it. I liked it. I had to. It's not a great sign when multiple times throughout the movie you kind of have to question yourself, like,
Yeah.
am I enjoying this?
So if you guys were confused about Glass, and I've never seen Split,
You should see
So
Split.
you
first.
can't.
Yeah, you
I
gotta see
don't
Split.
think. I think this is a trilogy in which you cannot.
Yeah, you can't
You
miss anything.
cannot see this movie if you have not seen
Yeah.
both Unbreakable and Split.
Agreed.
Got it.
Agreed.
All right.
But Cody, give me your.
I was not
real quick.
confused, though.
What are
At
you? Whose side do you kind of fall more on here? Is it Perry or Roxy?
More on Perry's.
Yeah.
I like the first half a lot, and then something happens, and then it just never recovers.
Yeah, I agree with you, Perry. Overall, how was the read in the room? Because you went to a second screening last night.
Yeah.
And how was the read in the room for most of the people?
I was
that
at
went?
that screening too.
Oh, okay.
Roxy sat right behind me. The two
Oh.
people I was sitting with, they didn't like the movie, but I will say it got an applause at the
Okay.
end, and you know, there were a lot of laughs throughout. I think sometimes the laughs were warranted, and that's what they were gunning for. And then sometimes it was, I think some of the things that got the most probably inappropriate laughs were when the movie was so on the nose with like, oh, look at this comic book storytelling device that we're using here and we're going to reference it. Everyone in the audience is kind of like, I got the feeling at least that they were all like, oh, we know that this is silly and too on the nose.
I wanted to slaughter our audience last night.
Why?
It made the movie-going experience so much worse.
What happened?
First of all, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This is such a rude comment, but it was a half critics, half fan screening, and tons of people with their devices or with that happens a lot.
And they didn't turn their phones on?
Just doing things. Like, I don't know if you noticed that, Perry, but they were loud, talking to each other. And Perry, we didn't sit that far away from each other.
I know. I'm surprised, considering how close we sat to each other, that I didn't notice any of this. Because normally I'm the first person to, spot the one device that's lit up in front of me.
I'm the first person to say something.
The people, it was the person directly behind me and the person to the left of that were having a whole. They were at the movies having a whole conversation with each other, out to lunch. But they had a seat in between them. So, and they were talking to each other.
Did they use both rests for their drinks?
I didn't check on that. Okay. So that was frustrating. And then, like you said with the laughing, I was one of the people laughing because other people were laughing, and then I was like, that is funny. But I think I would have thought it was creepier, scarier had I watched this alone by myself, which is what alone means, in my apartment. Like, everybody was laughing, and it was not what the movie was intending.
I don't even know if they were going for creepy, scary. I think there was a very small handful of material in this movie that was trying to be the horror movie in a way that I think Split was. Otherwise, it's big action, and it's very, very talky. Everything with Sarah Paulson is just this epic monologue that drags on and on. She is one of my favorite actors in this industry, and she was putting me to sleep this entire movie.
Yeah,
I thought she did a good job with what she was given.
Well, that's the problem I think that Perry had, is that what she was given for her, correct me if I'm wrong, Perry, was just not good enough for an actress of her caliber.
I don't think it was anything, she did with her performance. It's just that character did not really work for me.
It could have been anybody, and I think that on spoilers, or the spoiler discussion we have about it, we can really dive into that once everybody's seen the movie. But I actually think that was kind of the point, was to blend a lot there, because if you think about it, that movie, when you go back, there's a lot of Unbreakable in there. There's a lot of Split in there, and then there's this new movie inside of it, and I think that was the point of it. But it's just a matter. I thought, but apparently it's not the case. I thought that if you like the ending, then you're going to love the movie, because Roka really loved the movie. But when you hear Perry break it down the way she does, I understand. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of it, but I understand.
She didn't like the ending, though.
She did. She didn't like. Did you like the ending?
I'm actually interested in talking spoilers with you, Roxy, because even when you describe it, I'm not precisely sure which part of the ending you were super into, but I will say that when it gets to the ending, I like the ideas that they had there. It's just they don't earn it at all.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Maybe I'm using my imagination to fill in the blanks for a lot of it. But this movie had, unlike Unbreakable and Split, some of the dumbest moments I've ever seen. Yeah. And that bothered me throughout.
I still want it to do well, because I do like...
I think it will, because I think fans are going to like it. There's a ton of fan servicey stuff in this.
Yeah.
And I still think it's the characters that we love. Yeah, I definitely like this movie.
I was at the edge of my seat for a lot of it.
Yeah. It's still going to do really well at the box office. Good. It's going to have a big opening in January. But, there's no doubt that when the first reactions come out and they're not as hot as they could have been, that number maybe dips a teeny bit, but it's still going to make a ton of money.
I want to see where the fans are on this one. I really am.
It's the worst of the three.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
It's the worst of the three.
I agree with that. I mean, Unbreakable's still my favorite. Then I put Split, and then I put this one for sure. I agree. And if it would have been a satisfying ending, I don't know.
You might have put it over Split?
Maybe.